Hey guys, it's Friday. Time for that new video. So, in my last video, I showed a few little model kits and some parts and pieces that I picked up at the Acme show. And for those of you that stuck around long enough to see the end of that video, I showed the new project that I was working on, scratch building. This is the Druid Princess. This is actually Ed Roth's build. And if I'm not mistaken, he built this car for the Addams Family TV show. Since the Munsters had the coach, they hired him to build this car for the Addams Family. But I can't remember if the movie or the TV show went off the air before the car debuted or what actually happened. I guess you could probably find that information out. But so this is what I've been working on. This is, of course, these are the pictures out of his magazine. And this is sitting in front of Watson's shop. And if you look online at the Druid Princess, in this area, let me get something to point with, and I apologize for the shaky phone. Let's see if I can put the phone down and kind of show you. All right, so in these areas here, there's purple lines on the car. All through here, in the paint job, of course. The car, I'm assuming this is what it looked like when Roth built the car, and I'm assuming that Watson repainted the car and then painted the stripes in it. I was talking to Gary Seeds about it, of course, him being a master painter, and he said that the way the paint lines look, there's a certain gun, there's a certain type of gun that sprays it out to where it almost looks like the paint was put on with a roller. All the stripes that you don't see in this picture. Reason I tell you that is because I added those to the car, which is over there. And yeah, so I wanted it to look like the picture. When you look up the Druid Princess on Google, it'll show you the white car with the purple stripes. That's the one I built. But they also, let me get this thing flipped here. At some point in time, see if I can just get this down. At some point in time, it was resprayed and the wheels were changed out. Gary guessed maybe somewhere around late 80s, early 90s, something like that, maybe. Or 80s somewhere, maybe early 80s. But anyways, so that was all right. I don't really care for the purple. It's way too much. But I got to tell you, before I show you this car, all these little details, all the scroll work, all these little ribbons through here, those were fun. I made all of that out of epoxy sculpt. All this little detail that you see across the top and down the corners, around the windows, and across the bottom. Didn't make it exactly accurate because that's a lot of fine line detailing. I mean, very fine line detailing. That's really difficult to do on a 1/25th scale model. The one thing I didn't also do was I haven't made the curtains yet, and where'd that picture go? There we go. It's got a blue windshield, but it doesn't have a back glass or side glass. So I still got to make the windshield, and I still got to make the curtains. But other than that, give me just a second, and I'll show you what I've got. Alrighty, so here it is. My scratch-built Druid Princess. And yeah, it was quite a fun little build. See the little ribbons here? And of course all the scroll work around the windows, around the door. Yeah, all of it. And get you around here a little bit better. So it's all purple, but for some reason I may have added just a little bit too much paint on the casket itself. It looks more blue in my camera, but it's purple. But the casket, I made that from scratch. The whole bottom section, that's made of styrene plastic. The top is made of epoxy sculpt. The hand railing is made out of soldering wire, and all these little, I call them buckles, but all these little pieces holding the rails on, those are also made out of soldering wire. The tail light, as you can see, is basically like almost looks like a spotlight on the real car. So I made that also out of epoxy sculpt. And then you can kind of see it's got a little wire that it hangs from, like a hook. So I don't know if it actually swung as the car drove down the road. I have no idea. But anyway, that's I made that, and then I painted it chrome, painted the inside with a translucent red, and then I used that UV resin to make the lens. Just put a drop in there, hit it with the UV light, and there you go. Taillight lens. The whole body, let's slide this back a little bit better. The body, of course, is made out of styrene plastic. I just guessed at the measurements. I didn't really measure anything. Kind of just, eyeballed it. Same with the fenders. They're styrene plastic. I used a frame from a Roadster kit and then modified it to fit everything. And of course, the front suspension, that's custom made using coil springs, and then where it comes off of the frame, as you can see here, the tubing, that's a styrene rod. Same thing in the back, as you see there, styrene rod. The engine is a kit bash, parts and pieces. Actually, that engine came out of a 37 Chevy convertible kit and AMT. The actual car had, I don't know what it was, to be honest with you, because it had a distributor in the front over here. But yeah, it didn't look like a Hemi, so that's only Ford's on one side of the distributor, and then Chrysler, I think, is on this side. Of course, Chevy and others, some in the back. So either way, this was the closest engine I could find to look like the one in the real car. The car's painted a white base coat with a white pearl, and then all of these purple stripes that you're seeing across the cowl and up the body. If you look at the picture, and I'm sorry I can't show you, I wish I could edit this stuff and actually show you what I was looking at when I built this car, but it's easy enough for you to find it if you're curious enough. Just Google the Druid Princess, and yeah, it'll pull up and you'll see that. But the stripes on the car, get you a little closer, on the real car, they look like they were put on with like a roller. So it's not a perfect straight line, but it's a certain gun, and Gary Seeds knows the name of that gun, that kind of sprays out a swirly kind of paint. But I used a piece of foam cut down real thin and dipped it in the paint and kind of more or less dry brushed it with that foam. And then I went back in and touched up a little bit with the paintbrush. So that's how I got that. Let's see. Wheels and tires. Actually, there's some of the Krager wheels and tires that I picked up this past weekend or last weekend at the Acme show. So those worked out great. Show you some of the interior pieces. So all of the interior on the real car, it had a purple diamond tucked seat, but the door panels, I guess if you want to call them, they were white tuck and roll. I didn't think it matched. And the floor actually had a purple velour that was wrinkled. So I used just some paint to do the floor carpet wise. And then I made the diamond tuck. So you can see what I'm talking about here. Sorry about that. Oh, it's the wrong one. So there we go. Vacuum formed over a mold that I made using a press that Gary Seeds loaned me. But anyways, trying to remember everything there is because there's a lot of little details here. The rear, like I said, everything's scratch built. The center section on the rear axle, I didn't have one. This had a piece that came with it, but I didn't have that piece. So I used epoxy sculpt to put that bump in the rear axle. So that worked out again. Epoxy sculpt. I'm telling you, that's the way to go. The rods that are holding the fenders on, they're brass rods. Painted them chrome. Same thing with the front fenders. Basically the way he built it. Roth built the car. The front cowl, after I got the body made, the front cowl is supposed to be a Model T, but I didn't have one. But I did have a Model A, so I cut it off and then shortened it from left to right. Made it thinner, skinnier, whatever you want to call it, to fit inside the body area there. The distributor. Now that is actually a ProTech distributor and wire set. Had that in one of my little buckets of parts and ProTech parts. So that's actually a ProTech distributor. Pretty nicely detailed. So I used that one this time instead of making my own. But like I said, it's all scratch built and kit bashed from parts and pieces left over. The headers, I made the little end caps to mimic the original. I'm not sure if I'm going to put a top on it. Not sure yet. But yeah, I don't know. I might. I could always make it removable. But I definitely have to get the curtains and the windshield. So sorry about the shaky phone. But yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of parts and pieces, kit bashed and scratch built. So one of a kind. Now I believe at some point in time someone made a resin body of the Druid Princess, but everything else you pretty much had to make, which I've been there before. But this one, yeah, this one's all scratch built, along with, like I said, all the scroll work is epoxy sculpt. If you guys haven't used that stuff yet, if you're any kind of a sculptor, I mean, and you really ain't got to be a perfect sculptor. I mean, here, let me just show you this. That was my helper. He's tired. I had some epoxy sculpt left over, so I just built a little alien. And every time I look at it, yeah, it's just funny. But anyways, you can make all sorts of stuff with epoxy sculpt. It gives you a little time to play with it. Like I said, on this case, all the scroll work was epoxy sculpt. Tail light was epoxy sculpt. And the top of the casket, epoxy sculpt. But yep, I tried to get it finished up this week, but unfortunately, see if I can get that light out of the back a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't get the curtains made or the windshield. Sorry, I did my best. I mean, I did scratch build the whole car. So with nothing to go by, no measurements, no patterns. So I know there's one of you guys that are watching right now. Won't mention any names, but he's having a fit because I didn't make any patterns. And he really would like to build one of these, he said. So sorry, buddy. But one and I'm done. I don't do another one. Kind of lose the magic, you know? The The thrill is all gone. But now I have one more car in my Roth car collection that I didn't have before, and you can't find. So that's pretty cool. I think it turned out pretty well, considering I had nothing but a picture on my phone, because most of you know I don't even own a computer. So yeah, I had to find everything on my phone and look at that little bitty screen to try to figure out where am I at, and where am I going. But once I get the curtains made and the windshield in, I'll bring it back and show it to you, and I'll put it beside another car, maybe the Munsters coach, and show you the scale, and let you guys see one beside it, so you understand how it looks the right scale to me. But anyways, I won't keep you. I've already got you on here for 16 minutes, those of you that stayed. And I do appreciate all the subscribers, all the new subscribers, and all the views. Man, you guys really helped me out a lot by watching the channel. But meanwhile, you guys, I hope this motivates you. I hope this, fires you up to build something that don't exist. Like I said before in a few videos, just because it doesn't exist doesn't mean you can't make it. Just practice. Just keep making it happen. But meanwhile, you guys stay safe. It's Halloween. Don't eat a lot of candy. Don't scare a bunch of kids, man. Well, you can scare the kids. Just be careful with the candy. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe. Enjoy your weekend, and happy Halloween. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.